Sinem Koseoglu is a columnist at the Derin Economy magazine. She joins me live in the studio to talk about this particular issue. One case study there, Ravdanur, a very lucky, I suppose you could say, Syrian to be able to gain Turkish citizenship. How rare is that?
Well, actually, Asha, first we have to rename the status of the asylum seeker, the migrant, and the refugee. We have to first emphasize that the Syrians who have arrived Turkey are the asylum seekers right now, because gaining the status of being a refugee has to be authorized by the United Nations and by the government of the country that you seek asylum in. So currently, let me mention you the status of the Syrians. Syrians are the asylum seekers in Turkey, but they have the same rights as the refugees have. So the status is asylum seeker, but they have an upper grade right, which the refugees have in Turkey. And as a country, you have to authorize the status of an asylum seeker as a refugee, and that has to be authorized by the United Nations Security Council. They have to authorize because they have to pay money for the refugees living in Turkey or other places. And the Syrians are not the only refugees, of course. We have some other nations who have been seeking asylum in Turkey, like the ones in Europe as well. If you, as an asylum seeker, having the same rights as the refugees have, if you stay in Turkey for 5 years without any interruption, then you have the right to apply for a Turkish citizenship. And gaining the citizenship is up to the government, because they have to think whether it's suitable or not. They have to do all those investigations about your background, because in a country like Syria, where there has been war going on, you cannot discriminate people. You're a criminal, you're not, you're from this ethnic group, you're from this, you are uneducated.
It's a very lengthy process.
Exactly.
How difficult is it, though, if you're in Turkey already, in terms of, like, you can't work, you can't send your children to school?
Well, actually, the government has been working on the working permits. And they have been closing one of their eyes to the Syrians that they can do some easy jobs in the cities that they have been living since they have arrived here. But of course, it's the cabinet is trying to decide on that, and I think in a near future they will have a legal right to work. So it's going to be like a working permit or residential permit, that you have the working permit as well. But of course, this currently, till now, doesn't mean that you are the citizen. But they are trying to make things easier for them, because we believe that the Syrians have to decide for their fate, for their future. And if there is no permanent solution in Syria, you can never say people, okay, your country is peaceful, you can go.
Very briefly, if they do manage to get citizenship,
yes.
I mean, if we look at the numbers, 2.8 million,
of course.
How will the Turkish government cope with those numbers? Would they want all of them to stay and be citizens?
Well, technically it's impossible to give citizenship to 2.8 million people, because it doesn't, I mean, you can never do that in any of the country, and you have to search for those people. Actually, this is kind of a rumor by the opposition, because in 2019 there will be a presidential election and a general election in Turkey. So they are trying to a little bit provocate that, because they believe that the Syrians will have the right to vote and they will vote for AK Party. This is something a little bit that has become a rumor in Turkey. But it's impossible to give citizenship to 2.8 million. They have the right to apply, but the government has the right to approve or not. And the Vice Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, explained it a couple of weeks ago, you know.
Okay. All right, Sinem Koseoglu, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you very much, Asha.